is running through my veins. Oh, this line can't be tamed. There's fire in my blood. Burn.
Right then, hello everyone and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Offline Championship as we are here for Formula E round number 9 of the Formula E World Championship of 2019 here at the Nürnberg in Germany for the first ever time in Formula E for the Nürnberg ePrix, the first out of 2 doubleheaders. This is going to be the second doubleheader round. And it is here to cap off the season. We got rainy conditions here, as you can see. This is the first time in Formula E we're actually running under the rain. So the conditions haven't been very grateful to the drivers, but we will see how the drivers will get along with the conditions as they make their way around the Norris ring. But yeah, 14 minutes of qualifying ahead of us. And today in the commentary booth is me, as always, me and MG, and joining me in the commentary booth today is Giuseppe. Hello and good afternoon.
Thank you, Miriam. Hello, everyone. Today, as you see, we're at the Norris ring, very known for having the DPM races, of course. But now we're on the track with Formula E cars, of course, this being the Nürnberg ePrix. So we'll have to find out now, as we are in the qualifying section. As you can see, the drivers still have to set at least one time. Right now you're on board with Henry J. Brown in his Nissan. Pretty sure this is his flying lap, and he's now rounding off the final corner. Is it? Or because it looks like this is the final corner.
That will be the second to last corner, yes. But yeah, very good evening to you, or good afternoon to you, Giuseppe, or I guess evening from wherever you are. In German it would be Guten Abend. You see, I took 4 years of German. But not to brag about anything, I will go through the circuit just very, very quickly. So the Norris Ring is a street circuit located in Nuremberg, the city of... Oh dear, I just saw we have a Diaz Techita in the wall, and that is Noah Clifton on his outlap. Thank you for interrupting my circuit description, but we're going to see what happened to Noah Clifton as he's just coming out of the pits here. That's Ankaya, that's his teammate. Where is Noah Clifton, may I wonder? I think that is him in the pits right there, so we're going to skip ahead a bit. And so he's coming out of the pit lane here. There is the Panasonic Jaguar racing car. He's going to try a dive on the inside of Clifton, and just spins him around. And then as he tries to get that thing back turned and just straight into the wall for Noah Clifton, and that is not how he would want his qualifying to be. We'll see if he can find reverse gear and get it back going again. Hopefully this should not impair the drivers too much. But as I was saying, the Norris Ring first opened in 1947. It was mostly hosted as a sports cars racing venue in the 1970s, and ever since the year 2000 has been used by DTM, as many of you know, the famous, lovable German touring car series. And it has seen a few revisions over the years, mostly due to safety, but the track mostly sees DTM and a few other racing series here as well, mostly touring car related, but you have had some open wheel racing series here, like for example the Formula 3 Euro Series used to run here before it was just renamed to FIA Formula 3. and the World Sports Car Championship here back in the 80s. But now we're here with Formula E, considering it is a street circuit after all, and you can see as the rain is absolutely pouring down here in qualifying, it is gonna get very wet and very wild here, I do think, and we could be in for some very unpredictable results.
Yeah, indeed, man. Thank you for that track description. Very detailed. As now, the first time, the many first times have been coming in, I think only one driver to miss out on a lap. That's no Clifton, because he's kind of... He's there, as you can see. We're just passing by. It's going to be... I don't think he's going to complete a lap if he just stays there. So that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, what we're just going to have to hope is that Clifton doesn't pose as a track hazard. But one man I should mention, because you might have heard the news of a certain Formula E driver making his debut in Formula 1. Yes, that was Anton Råberg, who stepped up to F1 for a race with Alfa Romeo, because he is the Alfa Romeo reserve driver, and he was up there for a race in the Mexican Grand Prix. And you have this man in for this weekend to replace him, Alex Luan from Porsche Super Cup, the Porsche Super Cup race winner in the Envision Virgin Racing, now making his debut running the number 19, as here he goes on the inside of the Geox Dragon into the first corner and pushes him wide a bit. As you can see, there were a few guys exiting the pit lane there on that lap, so it's gonna get a bit crowded here as Luan tries to demonstrate the racing capabilities in the wet. Obviously, this is his first ever time in a Formula E car, let alone an open wheeler in the least.
Yeah, let's see how he fares out here. I mean, right now, 13th in the Porsche Super Cup standings, but since considering these are completely different cars, that probably won't... We'll see, maybe his performance in Formula E cars is different, so, you can't really tell. Right now he's taking 16th, which for the first time, it's pretty decent, not gonna lie. He's ahead of some pretty experienced drivers, so I must say. By the way, Schulenberg right now, championship leader, and look where he's at.
Yes. We should mention the championship. Can't believe I completely forgot about it. But let's give a quick rundown of the championship. So you have, after the very controversial round at Tangerang, you had Tobias Schulenberg take the lead of the championship as he scored 4 points, and he now leads on 71 points from Remus McGregor. He's on 70, so the championship leaders, the top two, are only separated by a point, which is absolutely crazy to say. And then you have Ari Soilu, the man from Finland, currently in third with a 7-point deficit to his teammate Schulenberg. And then you have Konkum, obviously was awarded the race win at Tangerang, despite only being awarded half points, as Luan crosses the line and goes P7. That's a very good lap from Alex Luan, but gonna continue talking about the championship here. Konkum, who only scored half points, scored 12.5 points for his race win. He is now 9.5 points behind Schulenberg in the championship. Obviously, had full points been awarded for that race, Konkum would have actually been leading the championship at the moment. And then you have Eric Adelberg as well, 15 points of deficit. Then you have Chowdhury on 21 points of deficit, and then Cesetti in P7. She has 24 points to Tobias Schulenberg. But yes, 7 drivers in the championship fight, or no, technically it goes down all the way to Colin Ruth in 14th, but I would say it's the top 7 who would be in for a very realistic chance of winning the championship in these final 2 rounds at the Norris Ring. At the moment, though, Tobias Schulenberg currently fastest, so he is the only one of the championship contenders, along with Konkum and Chowdhury, and then his teammate Soilu in the top 8, so they will make it into Superpole. Remus McGregor, I wonder what the pace is going for him though, because he doesn't seem to be adapting quite well. Either way, we'll see if he can get it up and rolling with 7 minutes to go.
And Schulenberg looks like to have pretty good pace this weekend. Of course, though, the top 7, right? Getting the Super Bowl, I forgot. My Formula E knowledge is rusty. 8. So, top 8. Sorry about that. But top 8 getting into Super Bowl right now of the championship contenders, as you just mentioned, would be Konkum and well, just about, because Adelberg, Your Swedish is affecting my my pronunciation of Berg, but he's up in the third. So
Yeah,
Conte
that
needs
is
to
a
watch out and see that he stays in the Super Bowl if he wants a shot at a good starting position.
Yeah, that's a very good lap time from Eric Adelberg. Obviously, he will probably be hoping to get into Super Bowl, considering he's fighting for the championship and all. As Nilo Alcid goes up at 10th, but Schwulenberg, home hero. Obviously, this is his first ever time racing in Germany, even though he's been a driver for such a long time. And I think we have an accident there just up ahead. Oh dear, and I think that is Konkum, and he's been tagged. Yeah, it was tagged by. I think that was Matthew Falcon. He was tagged by Matthew Falcon into turn 1, but the man from Thailand was able to continue. That's a bit naughty for Matthew Falcon, though. The man currently in second at the moment, so really well done from Matthew Falcon as he heads into sector 2. But at the moment, Thunderthorn Konkum is currently in 8th, so he'll be wanting to get an improvement if he wants to get it safely into Super Pole. With 5 minutes to go, I do think he will be able to get an improvement as Talal Nagali goes up into 18th. Alex Luano was knocked out of Provisional Super Pole by Eric Adelberg. Down in 9th now. He's doing a pretty good job for his first ever outing, especially in the rain as well. You do remember Luan in Porsche Super Cup when he took his first win at Barcelona. That was in the rain. So I guess you would call him a rain master of sorts, which is quite interesting actually.
Yeah, there's many drivers that feel branded as that. Not sure I would have ever imagined hearing Alex Lam being called the rain master, but you know, the pattern is there, so maybe he's pretty solid right now for his first outing in Formula E. 9th place now goes across the line without being improvements, sadly not. But of course, just about 4 minutes left in this qualifying session. So let's see what we still can see. Yeah, of course, what the drivers still have to offer. Because right now it's looking pretty close. If you see, Falcon isn't that far off from Schulenberg. So it's about 200s? About it.
Something like that, yes, should be about 200 a second, just under. But no one's setting any major improvements. I have seen. I mean, we saw Adelberg go up there, and then Chowdhury got himself up there a few laps earlier. But not a lot of improvements, as we have Ari Soilo coming into the pit lane. And there you have Adam Wolf in 15th. We'll see if he can actually improve. So as he goes across the line then in the Jaguar, and he does improve. He goes ahead of Aaron Curtis. I was briefly going to mention him as we were on the topic of Luan doing well in his debut. As speaking of improvements, Erki Nytt goes up into 9th. The man who now scored his first ever Formula E points last time out at Tangerang is going to be wanting to do much of the same here at Nürnberg. And try and score a bit more points to not finish last in the championship. But what was I talking about now again? Yeah, conditions. We don't know if they'll be getting better or worse. Obviously, the spray is quite big. But another question could be how much standing water can the tires handle? Obviously, these are Michelin all-weather tires. These are stuff you put on the road cars, and they have grooves in them, obviously, which are able to clear away the rain. But there have been instances of Formula E cars being very prone to not being able to clear enough rain, and then there's stuff like aquaplaning as well in these FE cars. And you got the spray as well, so people like Balin Jolga here, who's on a lap, as we're talking about a lot of improvements, as Giulia Cesetti skyrockets up into 6th. Now that is going to help the Italian get herself into the championship. And you have Thunderthorn Konkum, who propels himself up into 4th as well. Very nice stuff from Thunderthorn Konkum, but this is really what Giulia Cesetti needs now that we are in the final leg of the championship.
Yeah, indeed, this is the penultimate race, so this race is probably even just as important as the last one, because this here decides who are going to be the people coming into the last round, championship contenders, because of course with the close championship we're having right now, anything could happen. Like Giulia Cesetti, 24 points of Schulenberg, if she wins, that could boosts her up the standings massively. So you know what I'm getting at here. It's
Yes.
really as important as the last one, to be fair. 'Cause-
Um,
Yeah, go
yeah,
on.
it goes back to that age-old adage that it's never over until it's over. You have, I have to say, one great example we had that this season is Formula One. If you look, as we were coming into the race at Suzuka, you had Jesper Johansson lead from Dennis Goff by 44 points. And, you know, we were all thinking, yeah, okay, Johansson's going to clinch the championship because it was an absolutely dominant season, right, from Jesper Johansson, for those of you who have stayed up to date with it. And then, you know, he DNF'd at Suzuka. He had a really poor qualifying in Mexico. And Graf took massive advantage from that. P4 at Suzuka while Johansson scored 0 points. And then he won at Mexico. Despite Johansson only scoring 8. So Graf really takes advantage of this. And that 44-point gap, it's now down to 13. And it's going to go to the final round for the championship again. So even though someone like Chisetti is, say, 24 points behind in the championship, who knows? She could be up there. But I think one man to watch now is going to be Thunja Tornkonkum, because that man has been looking absolutely rapid, I have to say, in the last few races. I mean, the question is, what will be able to do in the races? But now then, as the checker flag falls, keep your eyes on the top 8. And I would just mention Zedan Kaya there in 8th. Fantastic result from the Filipino in the wet, considering that he hasn't been into Superpole any time this season, and we'll see if he can make it a first. But we're going to have a few cars across the line then. Soilu is going to go across the line, and let's see if the man from Finland can improve. He cannot. Got a few other guys on laps as well. Shahin comes in, then you have Curtis and Nguyen, and then Simpson as well.
Train of cars here, but Curtis go on his lap, and the other 2 cars are coming in. See if Curtis can improve. I mean, we've seen big improvements. Can he do the same? No, he cannot. He stays in P18. I think that's 4 cars apparently, as I can read. No, 3 cars. Yeah, this Nick Tander, last one to go across the line, see what he can do. Down in P21 at the moment, stays in P21.
Yeah, not an improvement for Tander, neither is it for, I believe that's the Rocket Venturi of Talal Nogale there behind. But that is the group stage done and dusted. And your top 8 then is Tobias Schulenberg, Matthew Falcon, Eric Alderberg, Thunja Tornkonkum, Ari Soilu, Julia Chisetti, Abra Chowdhury, and Zed Ankaya. And here's some pretty big news. Noah Clifton will not start the Nürnberg ePrix due to not setting a lap time in qualifying. So DS Tachita will be 1 man short. But the top 8 then, confirmed and locked in. You have the man who's leading the championship, Tobias Schulenberg, currently fastest.
And he's been looking strong. Can he keep that pace up in the Superpole though? We've seen many people getting to Superpole, then not setting a lap fast enough to get into first. So let's see if he can actually get pole in the normal qualifying session and even into Superpole. That would be excellent for him, considering he's leading the championship. And of course, we want an exciting championship, that's for sure. But personally, for him, would be amazing to start from pole and even keep that, because, you know, if he manages to defend all the way to the race, that would be eventually a race win, which would pretty much be massive for the championship as we know it right now.
Yeah. To be fair though, I do not actually think we've had a driver who was on pole for the group stages take pole in Super Pole. I can't recall that ever happening. Might just be my bad memory, but I do not know. Either way, we'll see how conditions will change as we head into Super Pole. Schulenberg, very strong in the wet. He's been on the pace throughout the entire session. You have Falcon in second and Adelberg in third. But I say Thunja Tornkonkum, Tobias Schulenberg, and then Ari Soilu are going to be the people to watch here. But I should actually throw an Abra Chowdhury into that as well, because the man has 2 poles to his name. I mean, that is still a really, really impressive stat, despite the fact he hasn't scored any other points than his 2 race wins, funnily enough. Still a very, very good qualifier he is on his day, and I think he could be a force to be reckoned with here.
Yeah, indeed, as you say. But right now, first guy out on track, Ari Soilu. Let's see the others will follow. 8 minutes. What can the drivers do? only 7 minutes now. But as you see, you don't have much time, so lap has to count.
Yes, indeed. Though it is a very short lap. I believe this is the shortest lap on the calendar compared to any other track we've run at this season. It's a sub-minute lap time, so it'll be quite interesting. And I don't know if I'm just seeing it, but I feel like conditions are a bit lighter than what they actually were in the group stages. I mean, it's still pouring down, obviously. I mean, you can see there's rain absolutely everywhere, and on board with our soil, you can see that the raindrops absolutely streaming down the Tagore Porsche. He starts his lap, and there is his teammate Schwulenberg, but Tobias lets him pass as Soilu heads into the first corner. We're going to go on board with a lap then as he heads to the first corner. And now through this little bend of turn 3 into the Schöller S. The chicane at turn 4 and turn 5 both are 90-degree turns here. As you can see how absolutely wide it is. But it's very easy to go run a bit wide on the exit of turn 5 and possibly clobber the barrier as you head down the Zeppelinstrasse. God, that was a horrible pronunciation, I'm sorry. Into turn number 7, which I will just not attempt to pronounce at all. And down to turn 8, now down Boysenstrasse and across the line. You can see it's a very short lap. It's about 53-54 seconds, and as it crosses the line, it's a 53.919 for our so that's going to be the benchmark time to beat.
For your information, turn 7 is called Dutzendteichkehre. So there you go.
Thank you.
Name of the corner. No worries.
But Soilo then, 53.119 is the time to beat, and Konkum has actually surprisingly gone 4/10 slower, almost 4/10 slower than Ari Soilo. So Konkum, not the I guess he's just still finding his feet on that first lap. Quite possibly, we'll see if he can get an improvement in eventually, because this is the first laps that everyone is setting at the moment. We have a few other guys across the line right about now. We should have, there's Eric Alderweireld with a 54.5, then you have Falcon with a 54.0, and Kai gets himself into 53s as well. There's Chowder with a 54.3, and Schwulenberg goes fastest. What 50? It's forced to have it say 1, but it's a 53.8 from Tobias Schwulenberg. I was expecting him to actually not even go faster than Soiler. It looked like a very good lap time from Ari Soiler. And Chisetti is the final car to be across the line. That is a 54.419. That is enough to get her into P7, but that is the first few times on the board, and Tobias Schwulenberg remains fastest from Ari Soilu, his teammate, and a very, very surprising Zedan Kaya in third.
Yeah, indeed. Also, we're coming into the sub 53 time, so you know this is when things hit serious now, as we haven't seen those in the normal qualifying session. Though it's still 4 minutes to go, a bit less than that, as Adelberg improves, 7th. So let's see what the drivers can still bring to us, because lap is short, as you mentioned before, Miran. So it's just a matter of time before I'm pretty sure we're going to see many improvements.
Yeah, Ankaya and Falcon both had improvements, but they were very minute improvements. So Ankaya and Falcon were not able to lift themselves out of their respective positions of 3rd and 4th. At the moment, Porsche currently sit 1-2, followed by the Techita and the BMW I Andretti. Adalberto though pushing at the moment as he heads into Dutzendteichkehre, if I pronounced that correctly, I'm sorry.
It's good enough, don't worry.
Yeah, now through turn 8 and down Boysenstrasse. Let's see what Adalberto can do on this lap, as you have two of the guys there in the back coming into the pits. That is Falcon and Kaya, as Adalberto goes across the line and improves. However, he stays in 7th and only a few hundreds off Eric Adelberg. What can the home hero though? Tobias Schwulenberg, as he goes across the line, does not improve, but he'll be looking to whack it on pole here today in front of the home crowd here at Nürnberg, as opposed to the Italian Giulia Chisetti. Let's see what she can do, and it's up at the P6 for Chisetti, so not bad at all. That'll be good points on the board for Chisetti for the time being.
Indeed, as there's only gonna be soon enough 2 minutes left, so about time for 2 laps, I'd say, or 3, depends when you started your lap. Schwunenberg, as I said, not always does it happen that the driver who was first in regular qualifying ends up being, I mean, provisionally, because it's not sure as of now, but he's first as of now, so can it stay that way? He has a, to be fair, considering the gaps are pretty close, that gap with Solo is pretty solid, I must admit, so let's see, he seems to be very, very quick here today.
Yeah, it seems to be quite on it, obviously, but we'll see. Anything can still happen in these final few minutes of qualifying. We're going to have Giuseppe across the line. Can she improve? No, she cannot. But Tobias Schwulenberg, obviously, if he does take the pole here, theoretically, this is not going to be his first pole of the season. That would be pole number 2 for Schwulenberg. And even then, we'll see if he can convert it into a win. Obviously, he has 3 podiums to his name this season, and not a single race win this season, so he might be on to possibly win the championship without even scoring a single race win. And I think that if that does happen, it'll be the first ever time that we've had that in the HTC. Obviously, everyone in the top 3, I should mention, Schwulenberg, McGregor, and Soilo haven't even won a single race this season. And they are in 3rd, which really goes to show that in a spec series like Formula E, consistency is always key.
Yeah, and if you take someone like Abra Chowdhury scoring 2 wins, Erik Adelberg 2, Tunito Konkum also, I mean, one of his wins was like 12 points, but coincidentally all of them are 4th, 5th and 6th, so you imagine it's turned around, but if you look at Abra Chowdhury's older results, it's just 0 points, 0 points. Same with Adelberg, except a 6-point finish in Japan. I mean, Konkum has been a bit more consistent, but it really shows you, just if you look at the top 3, their consistency is immaculate, like... for a spec series like Formula E, that's a pretty damn good consistency. And to be honest, I think Schwulenberg might break that sort of curse. It's not really a curse, but you get what I mean today. But let's see, it's still all up for grabs.
We'll see. It's best not to jinx it, but we'll see what happens as Schwulenberg is in the pit lane, actually, so he will not be improving. So I think he feels pretty set that he will not be setting any improvements. Either way, we're going to have his teammate Ari Soiler rounding the final corner and coming down Boysenerstrasse. Let's see if Soiler can set an improvement and challenge his teammate and rival for pole. And as he goes across the line, he cannot. What about Matthew Falcon, the young Polish driver in the BMW I Andretti, as he's going to cross the line, and he cannot do it. What about Abra Chowdhury in the Mahindra? He stakes across the line. What can he do as he goes across the line? No improvement for him, and that means that the final hope to stop Tobias Schwulenberg, and as I say hope, as Konkum comes into the pit lane and smashes all that hope, as he will be P7, and that means, wait for it, and yes, that means that for the 2nd time this season, Tobias Schwulenberg is on pole position in Formula E.
And that's a pretty good lap, I must say. He didn't even have to go out and improve that. Pretty sure he was sure enough that lap was pretty damn solid. And he was right. So, there we go. That's Super Pole done for today. Now, next up is the race.
Yes, indeed, and it's going to be the first one ever at the Norris Ring in wet conditions. It's going to be very, very exciting to see how the drivers will tackle that. But Schwulenberg's second pole for him. Porsche front row lockout. You got Ari Soiler starting there in 2nd. They're obviously both teammates, so they have respect for each other, but they are also championship rivals here. So, they will be free to race, I do think. Only 7 points separate them in the championship, obviously, but we will see what happens. So, just considering the constructors, Porsche lead by 37 points from Audi in 2nd. So the 2 German manufacturers battling it out in the championship. Both obviously have their home races here today at the Norris Ring, but we'll see what will happen. You've got the German homeboy Tobias Schwulenberg starting on pole. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can deliver today.
Indeed. Also, the constructors championship, you can just really see the Porsche lineup is just one of them is in first and one of them is in third. That just shows you how good of a lineup they have. Like, I'm pretty sure none of the teams have been able to replicate that type of form. I mean, this Nissan is good up there, but then they're beaten by McGregor scoring very good amount of points and Courtney Simpson's win. So yeah, that just shows you that Porsche really chose the right drivers for this season. Now they must hope that they don't get in the way of each other.
Yeah, and you couldn't really imagine. I don't think many people were tipping the Porsche lineup to be a championship winning one. I mean, Schwulenberg, you look at his previous performances in IndyCar and FE, hasn't been the greatest. Neither has it for Ari Soilu. And I think it would be much more realistic to have someone like Remus McGregor up there, considering that he has fought for titles before in his career. In his very short career, should I say? This is only his second season. But yeah, drivers from varying skill levels are going up against each other, and it is very interesting.
Indeed, it is. So it's very nice to see. But of course, that is to be fair, first and third. Now we have them in first and second. This might be big for the championship fight because Arizona wins and Schulenberg ends up in second. That would be Soilu overtaking Schulenberg by 1 point, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe them being on equal points, I'm not sure. But, it's all this mathematical stuff, and school hasn't started for me yet, so just don't mind me, okay?
Imagine how that would be. Two Porsche teammates tied at the final round, but here's the starting with them for the penultimate round of the Formula E Championship, as you have Tobias Schwulenberg on pole position, pole number 2 for the German here for the Nürnberg ePrix in Germany, and accompanying him is his teammate and championship rival from Finland, Ari Soilu, in second place. On the second row is Zevan Kaya in third. Very, very welcome surprise there in third. Finally, great to see that he's got his game up in third, and accompanying him is Matthew Falcon in fourth place. Albert Chowdhury starts in fifth with Giulia Cesetti. The Italian starts in sixth with Thunderturn Konkum in seventh with Eric Adelberg in eighth. And you have Jake Tiddelstein P9 with Erkid Nytt rounding out the points in 10th position for Mahindras. And both Mahindras starting in the top 10 with Alex Luano's debut starting in 11th. Not bad at all in the wet. And then you have Nilo Alsi, the other Finnish driver, in P12.
Up next we have Haro Shine in 13th place. So that's pretty good qualifying for him considering his other performances this season. Behind him we have Palin Sholga. Following him is Talan Nugali. Up next, Coleman Rus, followed by Adam Wolf. Then we have Aaron Curtis. Then we have Hong Min Nguyen, followed by Courtney Simpson. Then the last people who round up the grid will be Nick Tanda, Linus McGregor, and Henry J. Brown. But as you know, Noah Clifton isn't starting the race, so we'll only have 23 cars on the grid today.
Yes, so now it is time for the first of the Nürnberg double headers, and it is Tobias Schwulenberg on pole position as we have 6 lights. And we are underway for the Nürnberg ePrix. It looks to be a very good start for Zedan Kaya there in the background. Much so is the same for Matthew Falcon as Schwulenberg leads from Ari Soilu. Are they going to be 3-1 into turn 1? There was as Falcon tries to seize the opportunity. But Soilu around the outside, late on the brakes from Ari Soilu to try and take the lead from his teammate. As the two Porsche cars are going to go wheel to wheel. It's Schwulenberg versus Soilu. The two championship rivals and teammates are going to go side by side through turn number 4 and 5 then. As they head to turn 5, Schwulenberg on the inside, Soilu on the outside. As Kaya and Falcon there in the background go wheel to wheel. Soilu already trying to make gains on his teammate as he's not sparing any time and any mercy at all for his teammate as he goes round the outside through into Dutzenreichkehre, but they're still gonna be wheel to wheel as Schwulenberg gets a better exit out of turn 8. Now down into Beuthenerstrasse, and it looks to be Schwulenberg just about ahead as Soilu switches to the inside of his teammate. He's gonna go into the inside into the Grundischkehre as well as they head down into turns 1 and now into turn 2. Can Soilu try it on the inside of Schwulenberg late on the brakes round the outside as the two Porsche teammates still going at it on lap 2 here, as it's going to be Ari Soilu on the outside heading into the Schöller S into turn 4, and he is ahead of Tobias Schwulenberg. Ari Soilu takes the lead of the Nürnberg ePrix, and once again Tobias Schwulenberg gets mugged of the race lead here in the opening laps.
Breathe in, breathe out. Ah, holy crap! That was a great battle. I mean, to be fair, even here now, Ankaya and Falcon, they're going at it too. But
you have Albright Chowdhury there in the background looking to get involved into that. Julia Chisetti's there in 6th, so not a bad start from her. As here we have Ankaya trying to make the pass on Matthew Falcon. Falcon covers him off as Soil announces the fast lap of the race. And you can see how much faster he's lapping than his teammate Schwulenberg by 0.7 of a second already. But Tobias still is trying to be on the back of his teammate. Soil tries to keep him at bay as Ankaya on the inside into Grundeschere gets past Matthew Falcon for 3rd, defends from the Polish driver, as you have there in the background Chowdhury, Chisetti, Konkoman, Adelberg, there's Shahin in 11th as he's holding off rookie Alex Luwan. You have McGregor there in the background, I think he was battling with someone on lap 5 here. As you can see, the rain is still pouring down here, ladies and gentlemen, as I think visibility must be quite an issue for the guys at the back, as you have Nilo Altid on the back of Alex Luwan, and then you have Remus McGregor, who's going to try to make the move on his teammate Simpson. There he has a look on the inside of his Audi teammate. Zedan Kaya now sets the fastest lap of the race. So not bad at all from Zedan Kaya there in 3rd, who could begin to try and catch up to the leading Porsches.
yeah, a lot of action in the first 4 laps of this race. Even more because Juan Nguyen is going down a move onto... That is Aaron Curtis up into P19. I mean, it's only, you'd say it's only P19, but every position counts, as you know. That was a clean overtake, true.
Yeah, for sure. As it was a very, very clean little move from Huang Minguyen there into turn 1 on the inside line there. He swooped through on Aaron Curtis and was absolutely a nice, clean and simple move from the man from Vietnam. But not the only, obviously he's not alone. He has a compatriot on the grid. Now with this man, Alex Luwan, who was trying to chase down Halil Shahin as Shahin made a bit of a mistake coming out of the final corner. That could give Luwan a bit of an opportunity that he could sense coming into turn number 2 into the hairpin. Is he going to try? I think it's a late move on the inside for Alex Luwan as Shahin tries to take a wide line through Grundischkere, but Luwan on the inside, the better traction on the inside, and he gets past Halil Shahin, as you have Huang Ming Nguyen is going to try to make up another position here, as he's going to go on the Envision Virgin Racing car of Nick Tander as he defends into the Schöller S. Through into turn 5 he goes on the inside, and Tander can't do much to retaliate there, and it is going to be Huang Ming Nguyen who gets up another position, and up into 18th he goes, as Curtis, I think, dueling with Tander as he goes on the inside, has a look on the inside of Nick Tander. The young Irishman tries it on Tander, but he can't quite get past the Australian just yet.
Non-stop action here, and I'm pretty sure that's going to continue going on, to be honest. Glad we came to this track. I know it's going to deliver good racing, but not this good of racing. But, you know, it's not ending here, of course. Only lap 6 of 22, we got a long race ahead.
Yeah, it's quite a long race ahead. It's Courtney Simpson. I think, did he run a tiny bit wide there? That could allow teammate McGregor to catch up either way. It's a completely dismal weekend for Audi at the moment, considering how good they were a few races ago. I mean, they even scored a 1-2 at the opening doubleheader at Dubai. Now they aren't doing as well in the later half of the season, which is a shame to see, but this is great news for Porsche, who are doing the complete opposite, running 1-2 at the moment, as you have Huang Ming Nguyen now chasing down Coleman Rus for 17th position. As you look at the times coming in on the board, then the lap times, you have Soilu who's lapping almost 2 tenths faster in the rain than Tobias Schwulenberg in 2nd. Let me get the live championship real quick. I'll just plug it into the spreadsheet real quickly. That should be... Ooh, this is gonna be very spicy. So, if things finish like this, Schwulenberg and Soilu will be equal on points heading into the final round.
You'd love to see it.
And obviously this is considering none of them get the fastest lap of the race, and I do believe I think Ankaya holds the fastest lap at the moment, so none of them will get the fastest lap point as of now.
To be fair, this is horrible news for McGregor. This whole race week, and he's done in 22nd. This could really hurt his championship chances.
Yeah, Porsche could seal the championship at this round, obviously, and I think at the moment they are looking to do it. They will come home with a whopping 43 points, and I think, yeah, that would be enough for them to seal the championship. So, I think at the moment, Porsche will be sealing the constructors.
Yeah, and another thing Audi might lose out on, that if they can't get the constructors, they might try and get the driver's title, but even that seems to be slipping out of their hands right now, as McGregor is way down in P22, so that is not looking good for them.
Yes, but in the hypothetical scenario where things would end like this, and then in the next race none of them score points, Schwulenberg wins on countback. So anytime in the top 3, even if it's McGregor, Schwulenberg wins on countback, because he has 3 P2s as opposed to McGregor's 2 P2s and Soilu's 3 P3s. Only man whom he wouldn't win against would be Thunjatorn Konka, because he has 2 wins, something that Schwulenberg does not have. But speaking of the man, Thunjatorn Konka, he's currently here in 7th, chasing down Giulia Cesetti, who's currently running in P6. Not a bad race from her so far.
Yeah, but now we head into lap 10, about 13 laps to go. This race has flown by. We're like in the middle of the race. It's a given though that the lap isn't very long, as you have realized. 53 seconds, the fastest lap time in qualifying. I mean, close to 54, so we can say 54 seconds. But right now, if you look a bit through the field, Arisoidu 8 tenths in front of Schwulenberg. Schwulenberg really needs to get his pace up if he wants to challenge his teammate for the lead. About the fastest lap situation though, I'm not sure who has it, but we'll see that at the end of the race anyways. Or if someone sets a new fastest lap, we'll get the notification for sure.
Is it not absolutely fantastic how close the championships have been this season? I mean, they have been ridiculously close. Even in Formula 1, as we thought Jesper Johansson would absolutely, just run away with the title, Dennis Graf is closing in. Formula 2 heading into the final round in Interlagos, it's all the way down to P9, so it's a 9-way fight for the championship there. Formula E, if things end like this, they're going to be tied on points for the final round, and Porsche Super Cup heading into Interlagos, the top 2 are only separated by a point. As there's Luan on Tildesley, we're gonna skip the championship talk as we head into turn 5. There's Luan on the inside for Tildesley, so Alex Luan trying to secure that 1 point away from Jay Tildesley on his debut here, as they're gonna head down the Zeppelinstrasse down into turn 6. It's gonna be Tildesley who is ahead for the time being, so he is gonna remain in 10th for now.
Yeah, good effort from Luan. He certainly has the pace this weekend. So if we see him in P10, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get ahead and be able to get himself into the points-paying positions to be able to score his first ever points in Formula E. Will it be the last? Most likely not. If his performances carry on like this. But the sit rep for the lead then. You have Soilu leading Schwulenberg by about 8 tenths of a second, and then you have Zeran Kaya in 3rd, who is 7 tenths of Schwulenberg himself. So Soilu leading the race by quite a bit at the moment. As there's Aaron Curtis going at it. As you can see, what a battle this is. You have 3 drivers involved in all this. As Curtis tries it on the inside of Tander, Simpson's going to try to swing around the outside as Curtis tries it on the inside of Nick Tander. Now that it's going to head down Beuthernerstrasse, the start-finish straight. It's going to be Curtis and Tander wheel to wheel and 2 Audis there in the background. McGregor and Simpson are going to go at it as well. As it's going to be Curtis who's going to have the inside line into the Grundischkehre. Let's see what happens as they head into turn 1, as Tander's late on the brakes, but Curtis is going to hold the inside line from Nick Tander, and he is going to get ahead. And likewise, Remus McGregor in the background there on his teammate Courtney Simpson.
Yeah, indeed, nice battle we're having out here. I'm pretty sure it's not the last battle we'll see today, for sure. So if I look a bit at the field right now, the gaps are pretty much the same, except for the people down here. Yes, I've noticed a lot of times we see battles down the field. It's really nice to see the people down the field battling it out. I feel as if they're fighting for P1. It just shows you that every position really counts, because sometimes it really does. Because of course things like countback and where you place, everything counts, to be honest. So, like every little detail, of course. But these drivers approach, of course, every race by race, which is a pretty good mindset. I'm pretty sure every driver here has that. But right now, in this phase of the championship, that's even more important because, as we both know, penultimate round, and not many laps to go in this race because you were at the halfway mark, but you see how fast this race has been going by. As Rick is now trying to move on, I think that's Erik Alberg. Sorry for cutting you off, but is he ahead completely? Yes, he is. Alberg is still kind of there, but now he's lots back behind. Oh no, he doesn't. He just wants to line up for his move. He's kind of going left, right, doesn't really know where to go. He decides to go on the outside. Let's see, coming to the braking zone. Can he stick around the outside? Yes, he does. He goes a bit wide though. So that's Erkunit up into P8. Sorry for cutting you off, Miriam, there.
No, it's completely fine. But Erkunit up into 8th and overtaking Erik Adelberg out of all people to do that. Very fantastic stuff from Erkunit, the Estonian. As you can see, Adelberg was just weaving, trying to sell the dummy on Erkunit, but just wasn't moving at all to defend. So really great stuff from Erkunit there. I have to say, that's ice cold reflexes from Erkunit there in 8th. And we'll see if he can be on for some points here.
Yes, indeed. So now that we're up into lap 16, as you see, this race has been really flying by. I feel like we just started like 1 lap ago. To be honest, no, go on. No, you want to say?
No, continue.
No, I have no idea what I wanted to say. I'm trying to fill in.
Okay. Either way, Erkunit now is going to be on the back of another championship contender, Thunderthorn Konkum. And Konkum is on the back of Julia Chisetti there in P6. And here is Chisetti's teammate all the way down in P23, Henry J. Brown, not having the greatest of races so far. He scored his 2nd podium of the season last time out of Tangerang. Obviously, only half points were awarded for that. So, a bit of bad luck for Henry J. Brown. That's probably not how he would want to score his 2nd podium of the season. But it's not going well for him here at Nürnberg. He just can't seem to find the pace at all at the moment in P23, which is a shame. At least he's not the Audis contending for the Constructors title at the moment. But at the moment, Porsche will become the Constructors champions.
Deserve, to be honest, because they have been the most consistent and the most greatly consistent out of all the teams this season. So I wouldn't see any other team deserving it other than them. Of course, It's never over until it's over, like you say. So we'll have to see how the race unfolds. As Soili now is even over 1 second clear of his teammate Schoenenberg, so he's really flying out there. As we focus on Albert Chowdhury, who is pretty close to Matthew Falcon here. This is a battle for the higher spots, P4. So right now he's probably gonna try and close in, see if we can see him move in the next few laps, which aren't many, might I inform you. So let's see what he has up his sleeve.
Yeah, he's not gonna have a lot of time to do it, but Ari Soiro, he's really getting into the rhythm now. He's pulling away from Tobias Schulenberg, and this is good news for the man from Finland. That means that he is gonna be tied with Schulenberg on points heading into the final round at the 2nd Nürnberg ePrix. We're gonna see how that will play out, obviously, on what would it be? Would it be Friday would run it? No, Saturday. I can't remember because But this is running. We're supposed to run this last weekend, right? So it's kind of messing with my head because we're running it a bit late.
We'll run it when you see a ping in the videos and streams channel. That's when we'll run it. Be there or be square.
That is very true. Be there or be square. And yeah, okay. So it's on Friday. So the final round is in 2 days actually. So yeah, thank you for that. But lap 19 out of 22. They've got 3 laps to go in this Nürnberg ePrix. Tobias Schwulenberg, despite having started on pole, still it is only P2 for the German. It's a shame to see that despite having 2 poles, he has been able to convert them into victories, but he has been scoring quite a lot of podiums this season.
Yeah, good job by him, but of course right now he's still even championship contender. Apart from that, because as you said, if Solo or Schwulenberg don't have the fastest lap, we'll see them going equal points. Just like we saw, okay, no, I probably shouldn't bring that championship up before I get controversial topic about it, but you know, the Formula 1 championship last year. So yeah, that was a pretty exciting season finale for the right and wrong reasons, but let's see how our season finale will be next time around. But for now, that doesn't matter because we're here, 3 laps to go. Arizona seems like he's set for the win, but you never know because this is Formula E and the craziest things happen here, so we'll just have to find out and see.
Yes, I do agree with you, but I would say it's a bit unrealistic for Schwulenberg to somehow just claw down 1.2 seconds out of nowhere and overtake him in 2 laps. But I would safely say it's going to go to Ari Solen. I mean, what a race it has been for the man from Finland as well. I mean, he's driven just absolutely fantastically, battled with his teammate, and just pulled away for a very dominant race win, I have to say. It's going to be his first ever in the ACOs as well, considering he hasn't won a single race in his career yet, which is, I have to say, really surprising. But a few other guys at the points as well. Erik Knut is going to be one of the big watchers, and you have Zeran Kaya. So finally that DTM pace is awakening for Ankaya, and he is performing very well here at Nürnberg, and he's going to get his first ever podium in Formula E this season.
Yes, indeed, that would be a great result for him. As you can read up there, leaders on final lap, and we might see what will happen now. As of now, it's a Porsche 1-2, and that is massive for Porsche, just a bit less massive for Schwulenberg, but even more massive for Soder, as you can see. But as we head into the final lap, I wanted to add that third lap's battle, that's probably one of the best battles I've ever seen in ACOC. I mean, from my personal experience, but that was a really great battle, I must admit. There's no time for that right now as we're on board with Ari Soilu. I mean, you get the honors to
thank you.
Tell the race winner about it.
But yeah, Porsche 1-2 then, as they are going to seal the constructors in their home race in a very legendary way. But it is going to be the man from Finland who is going to win the Nürnberg ePrix. Ari Soilu wins the Nürnberg ePrix, and in what dominant fashion as well from his teammate Tobias Schwulenberg, as Porsche crossed the line 1-2 to become the 2019 Formula E Constructors Champions. And that is the Constructors title wrapped up. It's only the drivers to go at the second Nürnberg ePrix, and Schwulenberg and Soilu now tied on points. But yeah, let's go through the final results then. So Ari Soilu wins, now a race winner, and he is now a race winner in Formula E, and now ties his teammate Schwulenberg on the championship lead with his teammate Tobias Schwulenberg in second. He'll probably be a bit frustrated with himself, considering that he could have gotten a race win today. Zeran Kaya on the podium for the first time in Formula E. He gets the fastest lap point as well, so that'll be 16 points for Zera and Kaya on the board. And you have Matthew Falcon finishing a very, very good P4. Then you have Abra Chowdhury in 5th. That's his first points since his 2 race wins. And then you have Giulia Cesetti in 6th. Not bad from her at all. So she'll still be up there in the championship, I do believe. I'm not quite sure. And then you have Thuntor Konka finishing in 7th with Erki Nytt. More points for the Estonian in 8th. Eric Alderweireld finishes 9th with Jake Tillisley rounding out the points. Then we have Alex Luan. No points for him, unfortunately, but he still drove a very, very good race in 11th. And then Halil Shahin in 12th.
And we have Lila Asjude in 13th, Taral Nugali in 14th. We have Adam Wolf there in 15th, fastest second sector, might I add. So, second sector seems like it was pretty nice for him. Then you have Darren Gary and Bali Shoga in 16th, followed by Conan Ross. In 18th, we have Juan Min Nguyen. In 19th and 20th, we have Aaron Curtis and Nick Tander. As we go down to the last 3 positions, we have Remus McGregor. To be honest, that is a big hit for him because second in the championship, I don't know, it's gonna be tough. Following him is Courtney Simpson, his teammate. And in last, we have Henry J. Brown. And Noah Clifton didn't participate, so he's in P24. Technically, and that's today's race done.
Yes, that is the race done and dusted, ladies and gentlemen. And I have to say, it was a very, very interesting wet race at Nürnberg, and we have a very exciting championship on our hands as we're going to head down to the final round, which is going to be the second of the Nürnberg doubleheaders. But yes. Driver of the day then, and I am gonna give it to Ari Soila. That was a wonderful performance in the wet, and he drove absolutely fantastically to finally take a very well-deserved victory in Formula E, and now he is tied with his teammate and rival for the championship.
Yeah, there I must admit with you, I might also give it to Ari Soila here. That battle was something I've never seen before, to be honest. Really one of the best battles I've ever seen. I'm not even joking here. It is... You can agree with me on that. I'm pretty sure about that. But, yeah, equal on points. Coming into the next round, what can we expect? Only time will tell.
Yes, indeed. And it is going to be one hell of a championship finale. We've never had a championship this close. Never ever in the ACOC. This is the first where we're going to have 2 drivers tied in the lead of the championship. So you make sure to not miss this. But we're going to wrap up all of the 4 remaining championships in the ACOC. We got Porsche Super Cup tomorrow, where it's going to be the top 2 in the championship. Bentley Schaefer and Ole Boaks, the 2 Brits, only separated by 1 point of the championship. And then you have Luca Iger, Giuseppe Stella, Cameron Cole, Hemo Tiford, and Rahul Patel. All 7 drivers will be battling for the championship at the final round of Interlagos. As it is here in Formula E, it's very, very close in PSC as well. Then you have Formula 2 on Saturday, where you're going to have a total of 9 drivers in the championship battling it all out for championship glories and trying to make their mark into Formula 1. And then, yeah, the F1 championship finale as well. It's the 2 world champions, the fight for 2 between Jesper Johansson, the Mercedes, and Dennis Groff, the Ferrari. So make sure to not miss any of those, as it's going to be an absolutely legendary weekend that we're going to get into, which will definitely go down in the history of the ACOC. So make sure to not miss that, as we will return with all those tiers in the following couple of days. But for now then, that's been it. I've been your commentator, Miran Evji.
And I've been your co-commentator, Giuseppe Stella.
Thank you so much for watching. We will see you when the ACC returns in the following days.